Recording in progress. Welcome, Sagittarius. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. Um, Today is January the 19th. It's on a Sunday. Today we're doing a general reading for you, see what's going on. Seems to be some activity going on in the sky. Astrologically. Nodes of fate, North Node, South Node are changing sign. The North Node has moved into Pisces, South Node has moved into Virgo. So wherever that is happening in your chart, it's being a big thing. This change happens like once every 9 years. And we'll look back at like 9 years ago and kind of see what was starting to happen in your life around that time. It can give you some kind of like, like kind of like a heads up and see what that's all about. Yeah. Anyway, Sagittarius. Here for the sign of Sagittarius. We have a candle going to invite in the spirits of the highest vibration. For those of you who are new, don't know how I operate, I do channel information. I will put out cards, but in general, this is meant to be for the upcoming week or this particular time period. However, spirit doesn't always follow that protocol. Sometimes they give us information about things that have happened before, things that are coming up. One of the last times that I was doing a reading for Sagittarius, a whole other thing came up connected to Palestine and Israel, changed the whole course of the reading, ended up being something different. So never know what's going to happen around here. I just do what spirit tells me to do. And, I say what spirit wants me to say. That's the idea of channeling, is that information comes through me, not from me. So the cards simply open a window and gives us things to talk about. So anyway, let's see what's going on here for the sign of Sagittarius. Show us, spirit, the collective. Yes, the collective unconscious. We invite you in to give us a reading for the collective on the planet incarnate for the sign of Sagittarius. Show us what's happening for the sign of Sagittarius. Let's see here. So we're looking at money, finances, security. Ten of Pentacles is the best money card of the deck. It does talk about financial security. It can bring up things connected to real estate, like business opportunities, stuff like that. It's a card connected to like legacy, making your mark on the world is the way that I sometimes read it. Because it's legacy, inheritance, things that you're leaving, stuff like that, how things are kind of carrying on, right? Because it's financial security, and because it's financial security, that means that your money has an ability to go into longer range plans and stuff like that. So it's shown up in a lot of different ways. So we're talking about how things are starting a new cycle around your life. Excuse me. Just want to see something here for 1 second. So this is a card related to the sign of Virgo. I assume this is like Mercury in Virgo, which is its home sign. So there could very well be a lot of communication here related to like money, finances, things like that. And we could be looking at things happening since the time period of Sagittarius as well. Normally, when I see the Fool card, it usually brings up the time period of somebody's birthday. So we could very well be looking at things since the time period of your birthday, being able to be more financially secure. But the Lovers card would talk about like how there are decisions having to be made around here in terms of your money and finances. You have the Eight of Pentacles, which can talk about working very hard, talks about like trying to be focused or need to be focused on things. It talks about how your finances are trying to unfold. This is a card called Prudence. So in this particular deck, and this is the Sun in Virgo, interestingly enough. Um, so, and yes, we are doing a reading for Sagittarius, right? Um, but we're just kind of talking about what is happening here with these cards. So, oh, well, that's an interesting turn of events. This is ah, let's just put out these things here. All right, yes, perfect. Walking away from things. This looks like you have been making moves financially. Because we do have the Ten of Pentacles here, right? Financial security, things like that. We have victory. We have like things related to the past, right? And so people from the past can be coming up around you, right? But it also, this is a card that is called pleasure. We have this creativity card over here, the Empress ruled by Venus, uh, which Venus is the ruling planet for the sign of like Taurus and also Libra. So we can be looking at things connected to partnerships since we do have the Lovers card up there. When we have the Two of Cups over here. So this, but we also have the Eight of Cups here. So this looks like you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, especially if it is involving um, especially if it involves like businesses, companies, if you're walking away from your job, starting a new job, starting a new company for yourself, things like that. Um, because this to me feels like somehow or another there are either you're having new ideas around money. We don't have the Ace of Swords, but we do have the Fool card. And psychically, I'm looking at this thing where you're having these ideas about how how you can do something different with your money. It feels like there is some sort of an upsurge in whatever you're doing with your finances. So it's like, okay, this thing is happening here, and you could very well have reached a place in your job, your company, something like that, where you're feeling more secure in whatever you're doing with your finances. You kind of reach this sort of like pinnacle or something like that, right? And but this for some of you can also be how people from the past who have owed you money have like brought money into your life, right? But the Ten of Pentacles is a card that brings up like a lot of money. So this isn't really just about um this isn't just about like, like $1,000 or $2,000 or something like that, right? This to me feels like you've been working really hard to get to a particular place in your life, right? And and I just want to say that that scenario, right? I mean, for some people this could imply millions of dollars, right? For some other people who are not on that scale financially, right? Um, it could just mean that you're being in a place where you're not like struggling so much like financially either, right? Um, for some people, like a dollar is nothing. To someone who has nothing, a dollar is a lot, right? So this could be a situation where, you've gotten yourself like out of debt somehow or another. And so now you're kind of sitting in this place where you're starting a new cycle here around your life, around your finances, things like that. There's victory here. You're in this place where you're sorting things out. The Eight of Cups, you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, right? Because you're in this very creative like time period around your life. You have the Emperor's card here. This is a lot about like nurturing stuff like that, right? With the Six of Cups sitting here, right? This and Six of Cups sitting here, plus the Fool card up the top, right? And plus like the Princess of Cups here. These are cards that can also indicate if maybe you just bought a house or something like that and you have a kid sitting here, or you're looking into having a kid, so you're looking at how you're going to be buying property somehow or another. um because it's like somehow or another you're at a different phase in your life around whatever you're doing here financially and also relationship wise, right? Because one of the things that's happening here is that we do have the devil card sitting here, right? The devil card is a lot about limitations and restrictions. It's a lot about power struggles, right? It's like you've been doing a lot of kind of sorting things out. In terms of like the limitations and restrictions, right? There's a lot of chaos that goes on here, especially around things that are related to relationships, right? Limitations, power struggles around your relationships, right? And so it's talking about prudence, like going slow around whatever you're doing in terms of relationships. This is not a situation where you're going to be able to power through things, right? Because the devil card is like power play, right? Um, so it is a card that is connected to the sign of Capricorn, right? Capricorn is Saturn, so that is a planet of structure, things like that. Capricorn talks about practical things, right? And so, so we have i- information here related to practical solutions, prudence, right? And so this is how things are going to be able to move forward. The Six of Swords is a card that does talk about being able to move forward. Um, but you have the Two of Swords down here, which is a card that usually for me is a card that does talk about it's kind of can bring up things related to separation, right? And also generally it's a card that has to do with like choices, right? We have the Chariot card here, which is another card which brings up things related to movement, right? So we have this movement card, we have this movement card over here. Right. The Lover's card to me does not necessarily talk about um like relationships, although Two of Cups is sitting here, so it can be that. Two of Cups to me is related to the sign of Gemini, and so therefore being in a place in a quandary, right? When we're looking at this spread as a whole, right? In the middle, you're sitting here as the Princess of Cups, right? Princess of Cups is a card that is it would be starting out in a new way from an emotional standpoint, from a creative standpoint, right? um, it's kind of like, yeah, right. So when you look at it, right, shows this like shell here, right? It's a princess. So there is this like female here, right? And so it's like somebody here who's kind of coming out of their shell emotionally, right? Um, moving out of like the shells are usually things that are connected to protection, right? The turtles are connected to um, the shells are about protection that are also connected to like earth groundedness, stuff like that, right? So so do have that kind of energy going on there, right? And so you're you're at this again, it's a card about you're at this place here, this new beginning. These represent the past, these represent the future. This is your headspace, this is like subconscious area down here, right? So there's a lot of chaos that's kind of sitting down here, like subconsciously trying to sort things out, right? um and being in this place about a quandary, right? But this is a major arcana card, so that would be that this spirit says that this can be a place where you are in a rite of passage, right? So, um, but it's like you're walking away from this like Six of Cups down here, right? Eight of Cups, rather, right? It's like you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, right? Especially if you're moving away from financial security, if you're walking away from, like your parents' home, stuff like that, right? If you're moving away from a place where you were financially secure and now trying to do something more so on your own, like for yourself, right? And like, okay, like how do we do this, right? And so you're coming, like I said, you're coming from this place where you were sort of secure, we'll say, right? Whatever that means for you, like whether you're in this big company or whether you're in your family's basement, something like that, right? Why do people always talk about like being in the basement, right? Why can't it be like, just like a bedroom in the hall, like a bedroom on the first floor or something like that, right? Um, it's like so lame sometimes. Um, Not that you can't be in the basement, but you know, not everybody does that. Anyway, pet peeve, tangent, sorry. Um, anyway, but coming you could very well be coming, whatever it is, it's like you're coming from this place where you have been financially secure. Now you're starting a new cycle, opening up like new opportunities being presented to you, and you're kind of looking to venture out over here, right? But it's like you're moving forward like slowly here, right? It's like you could very well have like met somebody new, and it's like, what are we doing around these things? Trust issues related to relationships, right? And Two of Cups is a card about love, right? um so technically that would be a card about like a relationship, right? However, in my experience when readings, the Two of Cups is also a card about relationships in general, right? Twos are relationships. We have the Two of Cups up here. We have the Two of Swords down here, right? We have the Lovers card, which is a duality, right? It is the twins, right? So that is a two, right? And we have the Chariot card here, ruled by the sign of Cancer, right? But also the two different horses, the black and the white, right? um, so we have this sense here about how you are moving forward and attempting to balance things in your life, but you do have the devil card, right? And in the heart of where you're heading to, right? In the past, you have in the heart over here, we have victory. There's so it's like you've achieved what it is that you wanted to achieve in the past, right? You're coming from this place, and it's not like this is like recent past, this is distant past, right? Near future, distant future. So you're coming from this place about victory here, where you have been able to get to this place financially, and then you're looking at starting a new cycle around your life and walking away from the stuff, right? Because you've been very creative here, you've been very resourceful. Empress card is related to the mother, right? Creativity, nurturing, all that kind of stuff. So you've been nurtured, or you have been nurturing your own like finances, or you're nurturing your own life, things like that, right? In order to be able to grow to this place in your life where you're at this sort of um, you know stepping off place, right? The Fool usually is a card that talks about this guy, well, a young adult, right? The tarot is called the Fool's Journey, right? So he's starting a new cycle. He's getting ready to take a leap of faith. He's getting ready to step off the cliff, right? That's about like being naive, being open-minded, all of that, right? So, however, as you're moving forward here, we have this place about prudence, right? And being balanced emotionally, right? So it is saying for you to, things are unfolding here for you with relationships. Things are unfolding for you, not just about like, like intimate relationships, but relationships in general around your life, right? And, it's like, okay, I have this stuff, but I feel like you're coming from this place here where you have been warned, which is an interesting concept, right? Um, I don't know if you've had like trauma in the past somehow or another, or whatever it's all about, but somehow or another, it feels like there has been a warning where, and the reason why I'm saying that, right, is because you have the devil card here, right, which is power struggles. You have the two of swords down here, which is kind of about trust issues, right, around relationships, around how you are moving forward, especially with the chariot card. It can indicate about, like I want to move to a different state as well, right? Because it would talk about like moving at a distance. Usually the Six of Swords can talk about like travel to a different country, because it does talk about travel across water. But technically it's swords, so it's moving forward emotionally, right? Um, However, like I said, there is this warning here that shows up around like relationships, trust issues around relationships, right? And it's like, you know, it's like somehow or another you're trying to protect your bounty, right? Because you've come to this place where you feel like you're financially secure, whatever that means for you, whether it's $1 million, whether it's like $500, whether it's $1,000, whatever it is, you're coming from this place where you're feeling like financially secure, and whatever you do in relationship wise, right? Whether it is like boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, whatever you're doing, right? Um, you're coming into this place here where you don't want, it's like you want to be in a relationship, but at the same time, you're not really trusting people, right? It's like, I need to make sure that I'm protecting my money and finances, my hard-earned cash, my you know, my the treasures, the physical things, right, that you have, right? You don't want things like taken away from you, right? Because there's prudence around your relationships, right? Power struggles around your relationships, right? You're moving forward here, but there are trust issues, right? See what I'm saying? So there's all of that. So this does look like you're going in a good direction here, right? As the Princess of Cups is sitting here in the middle, right? It's saying that this is a time period to be trusting your instincts, right? Wherever, um, oh God, wherever the North Node is in your chart. I just want to see something here if I have, if I can see something, just want to look at an astrological chart for a second. So if we put Sagittarius on the horizon over there, and then Pisces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we look at this, where we go here, Sagittarius. That's not going to be a good thing. Anyway, this is going to put the north node going into your fourth house, which is about like home stability, the house of the mother, also what you're doing generationally, things like that. So Saturn is here. Like I said, Saturn, right? This is related to Capricorn, which the ruling planet of Capricorn is Saturn, right? So Saturn is in that chart. Also, Venus is in this house. So we have all this stuff that is happening here in your fourth house. Fourth house. So these are things that can bring up things where you're looking to like move, change things, right? You have Jupiter sitting in your house of partnerships in your seventh house. So there can be luck. There can this is things connected to, contracts, like contractual relationships, things like that. So 1, 2, 3. So there's a square. It's going to be happening around there. So like I said, there can be like difficulty around what you're doing with relationships and your home, right? So when I say difficulty, right, it's like you're sitting here with Jupiter, but also Saturn and the North Node, right? So what this is like saying to me is that you are looking to change where it is that you live, right? It can be like, it can be if you're looking to move to a new place, or if you're changing how you're living, changing the place where you live now, right? Um, if you're like renewing a lease, if you're buying a house, something like that, whatever you're dealing with, like roommates, things like that, right? Um, but what it's like saying here with Saturn around the relationship situation, whatever you're doing relationally, you want to look at your long-term goals, right? Whatever relationships are trying to happen right now, Saturn is not really going to allow things to happen unless it's like long term, right? Jupiter is a benefic. Jupiter is a planet of luck, right? Um, Jupiter right now in the sky, astrologically, is in. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jupiter is in your house of relationships, and the moon is getting ready to go in there, right? So this can be a positive thing for you as far as like your relationship things are concerned. So this is like 7, 8, 9, 10. Your 10th house is Virgo, which is probably why you have these Virgo things up here, right? Um, So Virgo is ruling your house of career. And Saturn is being in opposition to that house. Right? So you are looking at more long-term goals as far as as far as your career is concerned, things like that. That does seem to be a focal point in your life right now, right? And it's like trying to make long range goals as far as like your I want to say this is something that can be your relationships that are connected to your work, right? And so the intimate relationships, to me, they look like they are, I don't want to say taking a back seat, but feels like they're taking a back seat. So um, they're not showing up here as being a priority, right? It's like, oh, like I want this to be a priority, but I have all these other things on my mind right now. Right? So, because you're sitting here with this place of confusion, right? Like this is confusion, chaos. It's sorting things out here about how you're moving forward, right? Moving forward, and especially with the Two of Swords, right? That is a kind of about separation. So again, like the limitations and restrictions here, right? Walking away from things that no longer serve you, right? So to me, this looks like you're walking away from, you know, um, sort of. I don't know how to call it, like playful relationships, pleasurable kind of relationships, things like that. Right? I don't know how you want to call that word, right? But to me, it looks like you're trying to be in this place where you're trying to have like more serious relationships, more serious endeavors, right? It's like Chiron, not Chiron, Saturn. Saturn is about longevity. Saturn rules like older age, right? Like 50, 60, like up around there, right? So it's not gonna this is not allowing you, this is not going to be, the focus is not going to be on like short-term goals, right? The information that's sitting here talks about like career, right? Career is not just a job. It's like, what are my long range goals as far as like my job is concerned, right? So there's all this information that is going on here that is more like long term. So I think that you're doing like really well, right? But like I said, this is about prudence. So allow yourself to kind of take the time that you need to take, right? Mars is retrograde right now. So that can be about rethinking, redoing. Where is Mars in your chart? So that's like the ninth house, but it just came out of the 10th house. So it's like 7, 8, 9. No, putting in your eighth house, which is other people's money, right? Which would make sense if you are leaving like your parents' house, if you're leaving a place where you were secure because of other people's money, because of other people's resources, stuff like that, right? So that's like the eighth house. Mars is retrograde in your eighth house. So it's gonna Mars is about cutting, snipping, stuff like that, right? And but it's in ninth house. So this is things that can be connected to, if you're looking at how you're redoing some kind of education or something like that, if you're looking into going back to school, if you're looking at how you're going to redo something, right? Because We do have the Six of Cups over here. So this is going to bring up things from your past, right? Whether it is, money, finances, nurturing your creativity from the past, right? Starting a new cycle, like this victory, right? So it's like if you're looking into doing things here from your past, right, then this is something that can be a good thing, right? um, because Mars is retrograde, so it is moving backwards here, right? But when Mars goes direct, it's going to move backwards into, or it's going to start moving forwards. 7, 8, 9. So when it starts going back into your ninth house, then this is for Sag rising, right? When it starts moving forward, going back into the 10th house, right? Or ninth house rather, that's gonna, when Mars goes into that your house there is Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. Where is the sun right now? Sun is in your second house. It's going to move into the third house right by the time Venus is over there. So we're going to be looking into things that have to do with, communication, also anything to do with like internet, stuff like that. Um, so you could be, if you're looking into things connected to any kind of communication, internet stuff, um, anything that can be connected to foreign shores, things like that, right? Then those things can be like good for you, right? Doesn't mean you can't do other things. I'm just saying that where the planets are right now, that's what it kind of looks like, right? Um, so so yeah, but this does look like things are gonna, you know, with Venus sitting there in the fourth house. It's about beautifying things connected to like your home. Um, you know, it's not so much like children, but it is about how it's connected to motherhood, stuff like that, like family, generational things, stuff like that. So there could be some sort of generational, like if we're looking at this Ten of Pentacles up here with Venus, right? There could be money that is owed to you, like generationally, right? Like inheritance, like stuff like that. So, yeah, so there is like some sort of like money that is happening here that's creating this sense of financial security for you. Right. There's the sun right there. Sun, clarity, healing, new ideas, fear of defeat. This is your school education, like I said, right? There's like the Mars energy, there's your Leo energy, there's your Jupiter energy, there's your wish, there's your Scorpio energy, there's your Neptune energy. So you're sitting here with this like Leo energy, looking for this place where you are going to shine. That's what Leo does, right? Leo is all about like how I shine and they like to be the center of attention. They dress well, things like that, right? This is something where, and you have like the Seven of Cups down here, right? So there can be a lot of like daydreaming here about like where you want to be and how you want to be in the world and how you want, how you're seeing yourself like in your future, right? Where your goals, dreams, and aspirations are. We don't have the start card here. Um, but we do have the lust card, your desires, fear of moving forward, the success sitting here. Again, your emotions, right? Being clear about what you want. There's a lot of Jupiter energy sitting here. This is your work, your classes, training programs, your life lessons here are about being clear. We're trying to balance things here, right? There's juggling up here, Two of Pentacles, juggling. You have Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups. right? There can be some women that you're working around or people with female energies that you're working around that are being able to help you with the things that you desire, right? But there are things happening behind the scenes here. You have the Wheel of Fortune, things trying to turn around in a more positive direction. You're moving into a really good place here as far as your karma is concerned. All this stuff connected to like your money and finances, things like that, right? Um, with all this Leo energy running around here, um, I don't know. Are you looking for like a flashy car? Are you looking for like flashy suits, clothes, things like that? Like, I mean, like, so we're dealing with a lot of like male energy here, right? So we're not talking about um this is a general reading, right? So we're not talking just about men, right? So whatever this is why we're talking this is why I'm talking about like flashy suits, stuff like that, right? Because yeah, this is a guy over here, this is a guy over here, right? But we are talking about like the lust card, which is like this is female, then the Queen of Swords and Queen of Cups over here, other female energy, Venus, female energy, right? So, but there's things that are sitting here where things are trying to balance out around your life, right? So, what Spirit is telling me, because they pulled me back a little bit, I mean, so they're telling me that this is going to be a time period where you are going to want to balance your male and female energy. And what that means is that male energy is aggressive. It's like how we're gonna like move forward. It's like it's an energy that can be aggressive, confrontational, right? In a negative sense, right? But um, but like positively, it's like how you're making your moves, how you're taking your steps forward, right? Um, but like female energy is like creative, right? So it's like you're trying to balance your head and your heart is what that really means, right? Intellect. Like I'm not saying that women are not intellectual, right? But the heart is more the female, the head is more the male, right? So it depends on how you do it, right? And so it's like you're sitting here and you're trying to balance your head and your heart. You're trying to balance your male and your female energy. Right? I'm just trying not to get like negative comments and stuff like that. This is just what that's just what the energy is, right? Um, it's not about how men are smarter than women, that's not what I'm saying at all, right? Just saying like swords are aggression, swords are male, right? Like cups are female, the heart is female. So that's kind of like and so this is why we have the Queen of Swords and we have the Queen of Cups, right? Queen of Swords, intellect. Queen of Cups, your emotion, right? King of Cups, emotion. King of Swords, intellect, right? It's all the same thing, no matter how it is that you're looking at it, right? So, like I said, it's a general reading, so it doesn't matter whether this is like male or female or whatever, right? What it is saying here is that for you, it's looking at how you're going to balance your energy, your male, your female, how you're moving forward intellectually, but also creatively, right? In your intuition, right? Trusting your instincts with people, right? Because you're somehow or another, Spirit is telling me that somehow or another your intuition is being heightened these days. And that may very well be because the North Node is going into Pisces, which is water, right? So um all I know is that this to me looks like you're moving into a place where, like, I see it as you're moving into a place where you could have a lot of money, right? Where you could be receiving a lot of money, where you're getting like a lot of money or another. And I'm seeing it as being flashy, successful, stuff like that, right? It's very Leo energy. right? Now, that doesn't matter, right? If it's like a Lamborghini or if it is a Toyota Corolla, right? It's like whatever car is like you may never have had a car in your life, right? So for you, like a Mazda, a Jeep, something, whatever, right? That can be an amazing car for you, whatever your purpose is about, right? Like I'm not looking for a Lamborghini. I'd love to have a Jeep. You know what I mean? So yeah. So whatever it is that's important for you, whatever like I just want to be out on the highway with the roof down, the sun in my hair. You know what I mean? Like driving on the beach in the Jeep like that, right? Rolling around in the mountains in the Jeep, right? Like so that would be a great car for me, right? But like somebody else was looking for something like fancier, sportier, whatever it is that you're doing. Right? So that's the point of the story around all this, right? So you're moving into that place in your life. And so it's like it's like you're getting to this place here where you're going to have to make some major decisions about what it is that you're doing in order to get there, right? Who are you cutting out of your life in order to get what it is that you want, right? The people that no longer serving you, the people like people that are playing around, right, and not really doing anything, right? They're just kind of like living in the moment, living in the day, right? Like that kind of thing, right? And this is telling you that you're looking to make that it would be important for you right now to be working with the energies, as they say, to be looking at long range goals, right? If you want to work with the energy, that's what you're meant to be doing right now is to balance your energy, look at how you're moving forward, right? Keep your money secure, pay attention to who you're hanging out with, right? Making sure that you're hanging out with people who are going to help you to move forward, right? Looking to make connections, wheeling dealing, right? um because this is a kind the Three of Pentacles here is a kind about negotiations, right? It's classes, training programs, things like that, right? But it's a kind about negotiations, right? It's a kind that it's kind of about manifestation, right? Down the bottom here, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. That's Jupiter, it's luck. We have the Two of Pentacles up here, juggling your money, right? Wheel and dealing, right? Trying to heal your money, finances, your school, your education, the Hierophant card up here, right? There's fear of defeat around your school education, right? But you're sitting here trying to balance things, right? Right. So you're in this place where you're not really sure, right? You may not really be sure about if your education is enough, which is why you could be in this place where you're like redoing it, revisiting it, things like that. Right? Maybe taking like a couple of courses, right? Classes, training programs, things like that, right? Taking classes like taking refresher classes, courses, things like that, right? To make sure that like you're getting like the most up-to-date knowledge, right? Like you may be like, you know, 40, 50, something like that, right? And it's like you have this degree over here, but maybe you don't have like the most up-to-date information around things, right? Like I know people that are nurses that they have to keep their nursing license, right? They have to keep like qualifying, right? I know a couple of people that are nurses, and all of them have told me that about this. They have to, in order to keep their nursing license, they have to you know keep doing these like educational classes, stuff like that. I forget what they call them, but anyway, if you're a nurse, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, there's this thing about renewing, refreshing, um, that kind of stuff for your education, so that you're able to, um, you know, and especially I'm just looking at this other thing here, right? Because the Hierophant card does rule like traditional kinds of things, right? So if you're coming from this place here, fear of defeat around education tradition, right? So if you're coming from this place where you're like bohemian or something like that, right? And you're looking to do something more, something different, right? Then you may have to kind of figure out, learn, educate yourself in a different way, right? Because this is doors closing, new doors opening, juggling things, balancing things, right? So, with the Devil card sitting there, the Seven of Cups here, right? Again, these are cards that can come up connected to like drugs, addiction, things like that, right? So can very well be like balancing your energy, balance your life in order to be moving in those directions too, right? Or moving away from like drugs, alcohol, stuff like that, improving your life somehow or another. You have this like Scorpio card here, death and rebirth, right? And Nine of Cups is your wish card, but it's also completion of a cycle emotionally, right? You have the Seven of Swords over here, which is like fear of moving forward, holding on to old ideas, right? It's kind of about tactics. So the Queen of Swords is also kind of about tactics. So it's like how you moving yourself forward tactfully, tactily, right? Keeping yourself in key positions where you're able to preserve your integrity. Right? So things look like you're moving into a good place, and how are you going to maintain that? Right? What do you have to do to get there? What do you have to do to maintain that? What are your strategies about? That includes like, your education, all that kind of stuff, right? How you're like, what are your resources, all of that stuff, right? But also, it's talking about like the people in your life, right? Who are the people that you're associating with, right? And who are you getting rid of, right? That are not on the same, that are not in the same place as you are, right? So because as usual, right, this is a place about ascension, right? And the wheat and the chaff, right? So if you've been hanging out with these people and they're not in the same place, then there's going to be a separation, right? And it's not um it's not about like one person being positive, one person being negative, or anything like that, right? It's just one person is in one place, one person is another place, and the universe is going to create a situation that is going to cause a break in order for both of you to be able to get where it is that you want to get to in that place, right? One of you is over here and you have these things that you have to do, right? And this other person, maybe you're on the same page and kind of going back and forth, right? But maybe this person has to do other things now. And so they have to kind of deal with their own stuff over here. And you have to kind of find different resources or redo resources in your life, right? Because there's somehow or another there's a redoing of energy here, right? So, but it's like happening for all of you, right? No matter which person is which, right? So there's a redoing of your thought process. There's a redoing of your emotional process. There's a redoing of the relationship things, right? Because it's like what's happening on your inside and how you're like moving forward here, right? So anyway, that's what I can tell you for today. If you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, share. I will have contact information if you're looking for a personal reading. I do personal readings one-on-one via Skype, Zoom, phone, or in person if you're local, whatever it is, right? Um, you can reach out. I'll do that. I do not reach out to anybody. So if you get an email or something like that from me and I didn't contact you, it's not me. Right? Check the email and stuff like that. Right? So anyway, that's what it is that we can tell you about for today. So good luck with all of that, Sagittarius. Keep it smiling. Look for reasons to laugh. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Swords, which is about getting out of your comfort zone. Right. So it's about taking problems to bed with you at night. But it's a lot about like getting out of your comfort zone, looking at ways of it's a 9, so it is completion of a cycle intellectually. And so again, that's what it is that we're doing around here. So good luck with all of that. Thank you. See you on the flip side. Ciao. All right. Stop recording. Bye.